What happens when the world's best athletes turn sustainability into a sport?
You're watching Beneath the Surface, presented by ROCKWOOL.
If you're a regular viewer, you'll know by now that SailGP is one of the fastest, most exhilarating extreme sports on the planet. But it's more than just F1 on water, it's also a force for good, with a bold new initiative, the Impact League. A world first, the league guarantees that sustainability is woven into the very fabric of sport. How? By tracking the positive actions of all 9 teams at every single SailGP event. It's about going green, but also accelerating inclusivity in sailing. It's also a competition, and when the season concludes, the champions will be crowned. So join me as I go behind the scenes with our very own Danish team as they continue the fight on and off the water. One of the coolest things about SailGP is you get to see the best sailors racing the world's fastest boats. But as I visit the iconic cities on the SailGP circuit, I wonder what makes these places unique away from the racecourse. I've discovered people from all over the world striving for a better future, redefining social responsibility and driving technical innovation, redesigning how we think about sustainability. If you're interested in finding out what makes these places really tick, join me as we go beneath the surface. And this time, I'm in San Francisco as SailGP Season 3 reaches a dramatic finale. And who better to introduce you to the Golden City than our sailors Hans Christian and Julius.
SailGP is known for its firsts.
Take the Impact League, for example, a league that makes sustainability essential
To the fabric of sports.
So it's pretty cool that the winner is revealed here in San Francisco, a city of firsts. So here is a quick guide
To the city I used to live in, San Francisco.
So to kick off with some sustainability first.
San Francisco was the first US city
To stop the sales of plastic bottles on city property. And they were the first city to ban the use of plastic bags in the US.
back in 2007.
And the first American city to ensure that
All new buildings.
are fitted with solar panels. And now, some first for the Yachties.
San Francisco is where these SailGP athletes
Won their first America's Cup trophy. And the first SailGP Impact League champions was crowned here in the city.
now some cool general firsts.
Did you know that San Francisco had the first Chinatown in the US and the first ever human heart transplant took place here as well? And for the tech nerds out there,
I know there's plenty of watching.
Silicon Valley was the birthplace of the microprocessor. It's the tiny computer chip that is found in everything from
Computers and cars to the SailGP F50.
Now, SailGP has quickly gained a reputation as one of the most extreme sports on the planet. But if truth be told, its real impact could be defined away from the racecourse. So who better to explain how SailGP is transcending sport than its Chief Purpose Officer, Fiona Morgan.
So the Impact League really was born out of this idea, we want to be the most sustainable and purpose-driven sport in the world. And to do that, you can't just be a sport. Athletes are using their voice for good and we need to operate differently, like businesses. So we're redefining performance and we set up a podium for the planet. So it's a separate league here at SailGP, only sport in the world, and it's incentivizing sustainable action. And that's environmental and social. It's important that we look at sustainability holistically. So we really want to make sure we drive inclusivity, gender equity, and getting young people into sailing as well as environmental sustainability. So the athletes are the ones competing in the Impact League, and it's not just the elite athletes on the water, it's actually the shore team, and they're some of the most passionate ones, is the people behind the scenes who are operating the team bases and understand how they can make it more efficient and effective. But when we started operating it, I think athletes thought, this is a distraction. I'm not sure I want to do this. We kept going and explaining why we're doing it, the why, and looking at the impact, and also how other sports and their fans are really learning from them. The athletes have shifted. I get a lot of calls from other sailing events saying, you've inspired us. Your athletes come and tell us about the Impact League, and I think that ripple effect is something I'm really proud of, what the athletes are doing.
See, last year didn't quite go so well for us in the Impact League, but this year it's been a completely different story, led by our Danish sailor, Hans Christian. We're going to the final in San Francisco, neck and neck with New Zealand at the top, and just before we flew to the States, we submitted our final audit as we aim to overtake the Kiwis.
It's the final day before the audit deadline for the last Impact League submission. We basically have 3 different steps in the Impact League and the criteria. First is where we plan the actions we want to do. Then we're implementing the actions we're doing at the event. And then after the event, we are collecting evidence and putting it into an order sheet where we will be scored.
How did you travel to the event? Did you eat plant-based? Who are you collaborating with? How did you use your voice for good? What were you doing in ocean conservation? And we have an external auditor who sits and marks it. We review the points and then we give them back to the teams. And there is a protest period. You have to make sure that teams can look at each other's, share the data, and also be able to challenge.
So today is actually more about collecting all this evidence and making sure that we can present it in the right way to get those points we deserved. This is a very stressful time for me, and I want to be honest about that. I'm about winning this Impact League, and I've been clear about that from the start. And the whole team really have a big part in this. It has changed the way I'm living today.
This one is all compostable, so it's food waste.
And the way we're doing stuff, and I think it has done that for the whole sailing team.
I'm focused. This is now's the time. Need to deliver. It's like being back in school, eh? At the exam. Just feel ground control to Mr. Goodman.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, here he is. How you doing?
Thanks for all the information that you submitted. Clearly you've done a lot of work on this one.
Poor Rosie and I have to literally turn our phone off sometimes. You know, like, people are so passionate they want to win that they are like on it because people want to win so badly.
That's what we're looking for. Hands and sunglasses.
Remember, we finished last season, and we sat down and said this is not good enough. This is one of the areas that should be your top priority as a team. For us, winning this year is not just a goal, but it's a must.
He's like the eye of the tiger on these calls. Like, he's like, I'm going to win this.
So that's why we put that down, and then the spinnaker tip on top.
It'd be good to talk through some of the tech and innovation ideas.
You invited us to join this kind of gender design working group next year, which we're going to do with ROCKWOOL.
Can you just talk a bit about how it was tested in Christchurch?
With 2 ETFs in our hands, we have some opportunities there to activate a few people.
So we talked this through with Russell this morning. He thinks it's great.
Oh. I think we might get this one, eh? Sounded positive.
I think we did all right. I think we're lacking on the stuff. I think we know where we're lacking. It's exactly the same problems that we're talking about.
I think an athlete's an athlete. They know where the small wins can be. They know other teams' weaknesses. It's all about knowing who you are, what you're good at, being strategic, being focused, being consistent.
So yeah, we're on the way to San Francisco here, and we are waiting for the final results of the Impact League. And of course, we are super nervous and anxious to get the final results, and we hope we're going to win. It has for sure been a good fight, and we thought we have done a lot of good things for the environment and a lot of other stuff. So hopefully we'll get on the podium in San Francisco.
And it's worth taking a look to see what we've done in SailGP Season 3 that's taken us close to the Impact League Summit.
Look for the most sustainable option.
We have one for recycling and one for non-recycling.
Okay, quick disclaimer, and this is a bit of a plug, but our partner ROCKWOOL has been super important in our Impact League success and how sustainability is at the heart of its business.
The Impact League and ROCKWOOL share a lot of values. An eye-opener for us as ROCKWOOL was that you can also do a lot of little things that we would otherwise not look at as a large corporation, but through the Impact League and SailGP, we have learned to understand more about travel, expenses, how you source your food, and we've applied some of that into our everyday lives here at the ROCKWOOL office. Reporting on SailGP is actually quite a lot tougher than reporting, believe it or not, on our sustainability goals, because you actually report on sustainability goals or on your non-financial indicators once a year. With SailGP, we're basically audited every 3 weeks. Last season, we came last because we were so used to having very clean data that you would have to report on. So this more innovative, creative side of working with the environment was quite new to us and quite a challenge. But it does show you that there's also very small things that you can apply to your day-to-day that sometimes as a listed company you don't do because you're so focused on working on compliance. With the race to net zero, it is actually not so much a race, more a marathon that takes you to 2050. So the idea of having short-term goals and actually taking action immediately and not having the time to postpone is actually something very positive. The interesting thing for me, working with the Danish team, has been the passion and the effort they've put into it. There's been a lot of teamwork, in particular Hans Christian.
And the food needs to go in this, and it's very important we put food in this.
We want to continue to invest in this effort during the next seasons while we're still a partner of SailGP.
Back in San Francisco, the team are about to arrive, and I've got some really good news for them.
Yeah. Hey, good job.
Good job. Good job.
How good is that?
That's really good. Really good.
It was a good fight. It was a good year.
It was a really good fight.
It was a tough year. And we came from last to number one.
From last to first.
That shows commitment, and that shows like when ROCKWOOL takes anything serious, we do a right job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good work. Yeah, good work.
Back to it.
Back to it. Next audit coming up in a month.
As part of SailGP's commitment to nature, sustainability and diversity, they run a thought leadership programme called Champions for Change, where expert insight and learnings are shared, discussing some of the most pressing issues in the world today. Here in San Francisco, our Danish athlete Anne-Marie Rindom spoke about how SailGP is helping female athletes overcome some of the biggest challenges they still face.
We have this saying in our team that the Danish model is that we help each other become better. So you don't have to invent things again. You can learn from each other and then become the best in a much shorter time. Yes. And I like that about the community that SailGP have created for especially us women, that we have a community around us now where we can learn from each other and become better as quick as possible.
And following Champions for Change, Anne-Marie joined her team on stage where Danish togetherness was once again celebrated.
The winners of the SailGP Impact League for Season 3 are the Denmark SailGP Team, presented by ROCKWOOL. Give them a huge round of applause.
Sustainability is not always hard, and sometimes the answers is quite easy, but it's the work going into it and doing the right things that's hard. And the whole team really backed up about this Impact League, and that's why we're doing so good. It's super nice to have that feeling that you're winning, and that's why I think that the Impact League is being a competition is a great thing. That you're actually getting pushed through competition to do your best.
They really got a hunger for it, and so they were strategic, they were focused, they were consistent, but the big thing was collaborative. They really brought the best expertise across the sailors, the shore team, ROCKWOOL, their sponsor, which is an amazingly sustainable company, and they have a great NGO One Ocean. And so they really worked all as a collective to win.
Well, that's all from SailGP San Francisco as Season 3 comes to an end. It's been great to get behind the scenes of the Impact League and tell a story that's never been told before. And it's also been really enlightening to see how we can all collaborate and contribute to a better future. Thanks for watching Season 3 of Beneath the Surface.
Beneath the Surface, brought to you by ROCKWOOL.